Welcome back. As far as peak microcontroller is considered, there are several features intended to maximize system reliability, minimize cost through elimination of external components, provide power-saving operating modes, and offer code protection. So, as a part of our course, in this particular presentation, we will be discussing about one of the most popular feature of peak microcontroller, that is configuration register bits, and one more related to various power control related operations and reset related operations, again very useful one, that is watchdog time. As a part of this presentation, we will be going through the configuration registers and their formats in PEEK18 FXX series, and we'll understand the function of watchdog timer. So, in general, there are various such several specific features in case of PEEK18, like for oscillator selection, then reset operation, then power on reset operation, power up timer operation, oscillator startup timers, that is OST, then brownout reset BOR, interrupts, watchdog timers, then sleep mode, code protection, ID locations, and in-circuit serial programming. So these are some of the very important popular features available in Peak microcontroller. So some of them are taken care by the Peak configuration registration bits. Peak 18FXX2 is having set of configuration registers, like in case of Peak 16 series. As far as considered, it is having only one configuration register, but in case of Peak 18 there is a set. Configuration registers are programmed during the programming of the flash program memory by the programming device. Configuration bits are special bits used for controlling different features in the microcontroller. Now, one of the most popular feature, which is also handled by Peak microcontroller associated one, that is watchdog timer. So, which is permanently enabled via configuration bits or software control. It runs off its own RC oscillator for added reliability. There are two timers that offer necessary delays on power up. One of this is oscillator startup timer, intended to keep the chip in reset until the crystal oscillator is stable. The other is power up timer, that is PWRT, which provides fixed delay on power up only, designed to keep the part in reset while the power supply stabilizes. With these two timers on chip, most applications need no external reset circuit. Sleep mode is designed to offer a very low current power down mode. The user can wake up from sleep through external reset, watchdog timer wake up, or through an interrupt. Several oscillator options are also made available to allow the part to fit the application. The RC oscillator option saves system cost, while the LP crystal oscillator option saves power. A set of configuration bits are used to select various options. The configuration bits can be programmed, like you can read it as 0 or left unprogrammed, that is read it as 1, to select various device configurations. These bits are mapped starting at program memory location 300000H. The user will definitely note that address 300000H is beyond the user program memory space. In fact, it belongs to the configuration memory space, that is 300000H to 3FFFFFH, which can only be accessed using table reads and table writes. Now, this is a kind of a chart or a summary of configuration bits. These bits are not accessible for the user through code because it belongs to the configuration memory space, not the user program memory space. So it can only be accessed using table reads and table writes, as I mentioned. The PEEK 18FXX series is having approximately 14 configuration registers. namely configuration 1L, configuration 1H, configuration 2L, configuration 2H, configuration 3H, then configuration 4L, configuration 5L, 5H, 6L, 6H, 7L, 7H, and DEVI D1 and DEVI D2. Out of that, this DEVI D1 and DEVI D2, these are device ID registers. Here you can decide the respective device and accordingly configure that by setting particular series of peak, and rest of the registers, configuration registers and the respective bits are used for performing various kind of activities, or they are providing different functions. So in general, these bits are like starting with one by one the register wise we will make a comment. Before, just I have just listed what exactly is a kind of abbreviation which is used in that chart, and accordingly the description. So OSCEN, OSCSEN, that is oscillator enable. So clock source switching enable bit. Then FOSC2, FOSC0. This is oscillator modes are there. BOR V1 to BOR V0, that is brownout reset voltage. BOREN, that is brownout reset enable. PERTEN, that is power up timer enable. WDT PS2 to WDT PS0, these are watchdog timer post scale bits. Then WDTEN, that is watchdog timer enable. Then CCP2 MX, this is CCP2 multiplex. Debug is debug enable. Then LVP is low voltage program enable. STVREN is stack full underflow reset enable. Then CP3 to CP0, this is code protection. Then CPD is EEPROM code protection. CPB is boot block code protection. WRT3 is WRT3 to WRT0 corresponds to program memory write protection. WRTD is EEPROM write protection. WRTB is boot block write protection. WRTC is configuration register write protection. EBTR3 to EBTR0 corresponds to table read protection, and EBTRB is boot block table read protection. Now one by one we will go through all these registers which I have just mentioned. So first one is configuration register 1 high. So its byte address is 300001H. So this particular is especially used for oscillator related operations, for controlling these operations. So for bit 7 to 6, these two bits are unimplemented, read as 0. Bit 5 is oscillator SEN, that is system clock switch enable bit. So 1 is oscillator system clock switch option is disabled, and if it is 0 then oscillator system clock switch option is enabled. Then bit 4 and 3, that these two are again skipped, read as 0. Bit 2 to 0, they are belonging to F oscillator 2 to F oscillator 0 oscillator selection bits. There are total 6 combinations. So when these 3 bits are configured as 111 RC oscillator, oscillator 2 configured as RA6, then 110 it is HS oscillator with PLL enable, clock frequency is 4 into F oscillator. 101 is EC oscillator, that is OSC2 configured as RA6. 100 is EC oscillator, again OSC2 configured as divide by 4 clock output. 011 is equal to RC oscillator and 010 is HS oscillator. Second configuration register 2, that is low. So configuration G2L is byte address is 300002H. So here bit 7 to 4, these bits are not implemented, so therefore they are read as 0. Then bit 3 to 2, BOR V1, BOR V0 and BOR, basically BOR V1 and BOR V0, so 3 and 2. So brownout reset voltage bits. Then config combination is, if it is 11 then approximately it is 2.5 volt. If it is 1 0, then the voltage set is to 2.7 volt brownout reset voltage it corresponds to. Then 0 1 it is 4.2 volt, and 0 0 is brownout reset voltage to 4.5. So it is looking after the mechanism of brownout reset. In general, brownout reset is playing very important role in the operation and mechanism of peak 18, rather in all kind of peak controllers. So brownout reset is we can say that it is like monitoring the supply voltage level during operation. It is a kind of a comparator basically, and due to, say for example, external noise, thermal conditions, supply voltage may get changed for some period of time, and this would malfunction the operation of my microcontroller, no doubt. So to avoid this situation, all microcontrollers have BOD circuits. This particular will detect the supply voltage noise and generates reset signal through brownout reset circuit. Like, say for example, if it is coming down or it is going up. So in general, if it is 0 0, then VOR is disabled and enabled by reprogramming the configuration bits. If it is 0 1, then operation is controlled by SBO REN, and if it is 1 0, enabled in hardware, and if it is 1 1, then enabled in hardware must be disabled by reprogramming the configuration bits. So peak 18 devices implement BOR circuit that provides the user with number of configuration and power saving options. So it is controlled by these two bits especially, and the threshold is also set accordingly. So brownout reset BOREN, and then along with PWRTEN bit, so it is active low bit, last bit 0. So this is power up timer enable bit. It is set to 1, then the PWRT is disabled, and whenever it is set to 0, then PWRT is enabled. Now next one is configuration register to high, that is byte address is 300003H. So this corresponds to watchdog timer. So in this particular session itself, the last part I have considered the watchdog timer. So here it is unimplemented, read at 0, bit 7 to bit 4. Then next 3 bits, that is bit 3, 2 and 1. So these are post scale select bits. So starting with 111 combination is 1 is to 128. It goes, and up to 000 it is 1 is to 1. That is 111 is 1 is to 128. 110 is 1 is to 64. 101 is 1 is to 32. 100 is 1 is to 16. 011 is 1 is to 8. 010 is 1 is to 4. 001 is 1 is to 2. And 000 is 1 is to 1. Bit 0 is WDTEN, watchdog timer enable bit. 1 when we make, then it is enabled, and when it is 0, then it is disabled. The control is placed on the SWDTEN bit. So this you have to remember. Now in general, WDT is enabled and disabled by device configuration bits. It is enabled, software execution may not disable this particular. To prevent timeout condition, the watchdog timer must be reset periodically by a software. In general, there is a kind of a divide by kind of a scaling is done, and these particular prescale or post-scale rate is taken care by the option register you can have, and the option register, the corresponding bits in normal operation, when it is enabled, the WDT reset instruction is placed in the main loop, and otherwise in the sleep mode, WDT timeout will not reset the device but just causes it to wake up. That is known as WDT wake up, and the microcontroller continues program execution from the instruction following the sleep instruction. So this is general mechanism. Now next is a configuration register 3 high, that is CONFIG3H. Byte address is 300000 5H, as it is just you can see it corresponds to CCP2, CCP2 max. Then that is related with our capture compare PWM. Then 7 to 1 unimplemented, so all these bits are read as 0. Only last bit, that is bit 0, if it is 1, then input output is multiplexed with RC1 bit, and if it is 0, then input output bit, that is CCP2 bit, is multiplexed with RB3 bit. So this particular you have to remember in this case. In timer operations, we will give or rather I will discuss in detail the significance of CCP2 bit. Then configuration register 4L, that is low byte address is 300006H. Then this is kind of a taking of stack full underflow conditions and debugging. So bit 7 is BKBUG. So this is debug background debugger enable bit. 1 background debugger disabled, RB6 and RB7 configured as general purpose IO pins. And when it is 0, then background debugger is enabled. RB6 and RB7 are dedicated to in-circuit debug. Bit 6 to 3 is unimplemented, read as 0. Bit 2 is LVP, which is low voltage ICSP enable bit. It is 1, then it is enabled, 0, it is disabled. So low voltage protection is also provided in this peak controllers. Then there is bit 1 unimplemented, read as 0. Bit 0 is STVREN, stack full underflow reset enable bit. So when it is 1, then it calls reset, and when it is 0, then it will not cause reset. So that also you have to remember the significance of this particular STVREN bit. So as a part of configuration bit setting, it is available, and stack full underflow reset enable can be used whenever you have some situation from your say due to subroutine and main program, some conflict, some callback kind of activity is the particular code through code it is not possible. Then at that time you can forcefully considering the conditions of stack full or underflow conditions, you can take a decision. Then there is configuration register 5 low. So byte address is 300008H. So 7 to 4 again unimplemented, read as 0. So bit 3 is CP3 code protection bit. 1 then not code protected, and 0 then code protected. So 006000 to 007FFFH not code protected. The addresses also you remember, otherwise it is protected. Bit 2 CP2 is code protection bit. Here the block is various blocks are there. So block 2 that is from 00400 to 005FFF. This code portion block is code is not protected, but if it is set to 0, then it is protected. Then next is bit 1 CP1 code protection bit. So block 1 is 002000 to 003FFF. So it is not protected if it is 1, it is protected if it is 0, and bit 0 is CP0. So here it is code protection bit, it is 1, block 0, location is 000 to 001FFF, not code protected if that bit is set to 1, and code is protected if that bit is set to 0. Then there is configuration register 5 high. So byte address is 30009H. So this is corresponding to EEPROM. So bit 7 CPD data. So that is code protection bit 1, then code not protected, 0, then it is protected data from EEPROM. Bit 6 CPB boot block code protection bit. So boot block, that is starting from 00000 to 0001FF. It is not protected if that bit is set to 1, but if that bit is set to 0, then it is protected. And bit 5 to 0 again unimplemented, so read as 0. Then configuration bit 6, that is low, byte address is 3000AH. So here it is from 7 to 4, read as 0. Bit 3 is WRT3 write protection bit. Block 3 that is 00600 to 007FFFH. It is not protected, otherwise it is protected. Bit 2 is write protection. Again, block is 00400 to 005FFF. And bit 1 is WRT1. So this is also write protection bit. Here the block is 00200 to 003FF. And WRT0 is write protection bit. So 4 bits are there in this particular register. In the earlier version there were 3 bits, here 4 are there. Bit 0, WRT0, block 0, that is 000 to 001FFH, which is not protected if it is set, and it is protected if it is in reset. Then configuration bit register 6 high. So here it is bit 7 is WRTD, data EEPROM write protection bit. It is 1 then not protected, if it is 0 then protected. WRTB boot block write protection bit. So if it is 1 again not protected, boot block, and if it is 0 then protected. WRTC configuration register write protection bit. So configuration registers, they are from G00000 to 3000FF. They are not protected. If it is 0 then they are protected. This bit is read only and cannot be changed in the user mode. That is bit 4 to 0 again unimplemented. Bit 5 is only read only bit. Now the configuration register 7L, that is low, address is 30000CH. So again 7 to 4 not implemented. EBTR3 to EBTR0. EBTR3 corresponds to table read protection. Addresses are 00600 to 007FFF. Then EBTR2 portion, that block is starting with 4000 to 005FFFH. So same policy, if the bit is set then block is not protected. If bit is not set, that is if bit is kept 0, then only respective block is protected. Then configuration register 7. So this is address is 30000DH. So here 7 bit is unimplemented, 6 bit is boot block table read protection bit. If it is 1 then it is not protected. If it is 0 then protected. The block is starting from boot block, that is 000000 to 0001FF, and bit 5 to 0 they are again implemented. Now there are again 2 more register bits. So device ID bits, you can have device ID from device DEV10 to DEV3. So these are the bits, they are numbered like this. These bits are used with DEV2 to DEV0 bits in the device ID register 1 to identify the part number. Okay, and then next one is device ID register 1. So for peak 18FXX2, this is the address is 3FFFF. So here 7 to 5 bits. So if these 3 bits are kept 000, then peak 18F2452. If it is 001, 18F452, 100, 18F242, and 101, 18F442. And the last 4 bits, that is REV3 to REV0, these are revision ID bits. So these bits are used to indicate the device revision. So you can have device setting accordingly. Now one more point I have added in the same presentation, which is related to watchdog timer. Watchdog timer is a free running on-chip RC oscillator which does not require any external component. The RC oscillator is separate from RC oscillator of OSC1 clock pin. That means that WDT will run even if the clock on OSC1 clock 1 and OSC2 clock 0 RA6 pins of the device has been stopped, for example by execution of a sleep instruction. During normal operation, WDT timeout generates a device reset, that is watchdog timer reset. If the device is in sleep mode, a WDT timeout causes the device to wake up and continue with normal operation. Watchdog timer wake up, the T0 bit in the Archon register will be cleared upon WDT timeout. Now this is general format as far as watchdog timer is considered. Here you can see that the bits are bit 7 is there, then bit 7 to bit 1, that is unimplemented. They are all are read as 0, and only bit 0 is SWDTN software control watchdog timer enable bit. So this is 1 when the watchdog timer is on, and this is 0 when watchdog timer is turned off. If the WDTN configuration bit in the configuration register is 0. The watchdog timer is enabled and disabled by the device configuration bit. If the WDT is enabled, software execution may not disable this function. When the WTN configuration bit is cleared, the SWTDTN bit enables or disables the operation of WDT. So WDT is playing very important role in the operation as far as considered. Then you have a post-scaler kind of a thing which can extend the reset period. The post-scaler is selected at the time of the device programming by the value returned to the configuration 2H configuration register. As we have seen, it is ranging from 1:128 to 1:1. So respectively, those 3 bits are configured in case of watchdog timer. Then here you can see the structure: watchdog timer, configuration bits, and SWDTN bit. Post-scaler is there, divide by kind of a activity, and 8:1 mux is going to look after. The respective registers involved are config 2H register, RCON register, and WDT con register. So only these 3 registers are directly affecting the operation of WDT timer. The CLR, WDT, and sleep instructions can be used to clear the WDT and the post scaler if assigned to the WDT, and prevent from timing out the generating a device reset condition. When CLR WDT instruction is executed, then the post scaler is assigned to the WDT. The post scaler count will be cleared, but the post scaler assignment is not changed. So this register and the respective kind of a block diagram is telling you about how exactly it works as a watchdog timer kind of a say register. Then in general, whenever we use configuration registers, uh, there is a little difference. That is, they are written. The registers are written a byte at a time. The sequence of events for programming configuration registers is typical one. Like first one is load a table pointer with address of configuration register being written. Load table pointer with address of configuration register being written. So this address plays important role. Then second step is write a single byte using TBLWDT instruction. So as I already mentioned, this is carried out using table reads and table writes. Then set EEPGD to point to program memory, set CFGS bit to access configuration registers, and set WREN to enable byte writes. Next step is disable all interrupts. Then next is write 55 to EECON 2, write AA to EECON 2. Let's first of all write 55, that is toggling, and then again AA. Set the WR bits. This will begin the write cycle, and CPU will stall for duration of write approximately 2 milliseconds as far as it, since it is using internal timer, and then it will execute no operation, and then the last step may be again enable the interrupts once your activity is over with the help of configuration registers. So these are the things which are carried out in case of PEEK microcontrollers as far as configuration registers are considered. As I mentioned, there is a set of approximately 14 registers, and they are used for controlling different features of microcontroller. So this is all about configuration register, and out of that, one of the popular kind of a block or a feature, there is watchdog timer feature, that also we have discussed as a part of this particular presentation. So whenever you, in the beginning, whenever you start your program, the way I mentioned the steps, you follow that. In general, in MP Lab, we have a facility to set these bits or reset. So there you can, I mean, like MP Lab is one of the most popular simulator used. It is a platform for peak programming, peak microcontroller programming. So there you have the options, and you can set or reset respective register. At the time of programming, I will show you how to reset or set the respective bits from configuration register. Thank you.